What is going on, Chiefs Kingdom? Welcome back to a live edition of The Kingdom Says. We appreciate you all joining us tonight on this very, very special episode. I am your host, as always, Mr. Garrett Williams. I am joined by my usual co-host, one Mr. Kyle Henning. How we doing tonight, Kyle?
Not too bad. Getting ready for this weekend. Gonna be up in the Kansas City.
In Kansas City, we are going to be in you. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a very awesome time flying in for the game. Well, I'm flying in. Kyle's just driving.
Yeah, just a little jaunt up the highway.
How long of a drive is that from Wichita?
It's a couple hours.
Couple hours, yeah. That's all right, yeah.
But, some will tell you 3, others will tell you not so much. Well, it's fine. It depends on how fast you drive.
Yeah, so we are here live today because obviously we're going to be a little busy the next few days. So this is the easiest way for us to get this out to you to talk the Chiefs going at home versus the New Orleans Saints on Monday Night Football, which is a first Monday Night Football game of the year for the Chiefs. I think the only one. I think usually every team just has one, but this is the one for the Chiefs this season. I do believe they might have another one actually.
They play every other day of the week.
Play
besides Tuesday, so they can only have so many Monday night games.
Exactly. Yeah, the Chiefs they just
they have the Bucks on Monday night also.
Okay. Yeah. So, but should be a really fun matchup. We're gonna get into it here.
And then starting Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Wednesday.
Yeah. Yep. Sunday. Everyone. We're on Christmas this year, I believe. We're on. We're everywhere. Yeah, every single day that the Chiefs can play on, they're going to be playing on it because they draw the most eyes. That's why every single week they always release those numbers of, wow, this is the most viewed Sunday Night Football game in the past 3-5 years of this week. And it's like, yeah, because it's the Chiefs. You know, that's about par for the course. So with that being said, we are going to dive into this matchup that we've got going. Obviously, we can start out probably with the easy one, the injury report. Which has seen a couple notable names for both teams. So on the Chiefs side, obviously the big injury transaction would be the Chiefs officially placed Rashee Rice on the injured reserve list. He's out at least 4 games. There's still a ton, and I mean a ton, of uncertainty around the extent of his injury. The reports is that they're waiting for swelling to go down next week to have it scoped and
kinds of reports
again. There's verified reports, and then there's all the sources and the anonymous folk on Twitter. But looking like right now, early signs, there's a chance that Rashee Rice does return at least this season. Maybe the regular season, playoffs, who knows? But early signs, there's at least a chance. It's not like they've been ruled out officially with a torn ACL or anything like that. There might be ACL damage and all different kind of knee damage. We talked about it a lot on last episode, what it all could be. But, nothing official, and he is on IR. So,
yeah, remember last episode when I said it's going to be a long week, and you asked me what in regards to what, and I said all of this, all of this. Yeah, you guys remember when they went day to day for Eric Berry? Yeah. And that was god awful and took everyone's life away from them. If it shortened years off of everyone's life for no reason. Yeah, so I knew this week was going to be messy, and it was even messier because, of course, now that we are who we are as a franchise, national people talk about things, and of course, our favorite giant windbag decided to drum up some clickbait psychosis again. Yeah. I'm not saying his name nor giving him a drop of but we know you guys, if you don't know who we're talking about, you really should. It's not hard to figure out. He somehow manages to find himself on NBC's television programming and YouTube programming.
Yeah,
does a podcast with Chris Sims.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, the NBC guy.
Yeah, that guy. So
terrible broadcast, by the way. Terrible.
Just horrible.
Everything about NBC is going down.
I don't mind Chris Sims, but the other guy is just problematic. So when we get to that point, and with all the other stuff, like I've heard people that are viable, real, like source people, like people that are connected to the league, say some things today where I was just like, what are you talking about? That doesn't even make sense. Are we sure we heard the same thing and the correct thing from whoever we heard it from, or we didn't get this second?
Yeah.
Everybody just like we'll get answers like Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm gonna guess Wednesday because the Chiefs aren't gonna be around Tuesday to answer anybody's questions. And that's the way they prefer it. So it'll be Wednesday before we hear anything at the early.
Yeah.
So
So
everybody needs to operate as we don't have Rasheed for at least the next month.
yeah, so that's obviously something to consider and look forward to going forward. But he's at least going to be out for the foreseeable future. As well, jumping on the rest of the injury report, there's a couple other names that aren't great. It's going to be interesting, the wide receiver room for the Chiefs this week, as McCole Hardman has also popped up on the injury report with a DNP yesterday, or today actually. DNP yesterday, LP. Sorry, I keep on mixing it up. DNP on today, Friday, and then limited on Thursday. So who knows the status of McCole fully, what he'll be doing. Clyde Edwards-Hilaire's window was activated he was on the NFI list, PUP list.
Non-football injury list.
Yeah.
With the mental health PTSD that he talked about and whatever else that there is that goes with that, because PTSD is a big giant overview
Umbrella
term, and
term.
then
Yeah.
that goes into so many other things that it can mess with and have an effect on. So just hope now that he's feeling more up to it and enjoying everything, and getting back to playing football again, and he's got his mind right and everything's going well, because that's the main thing at the end of the day for him and what we want. Football be damned, man. People don't know the story of what happened his freshman year at LSU and whatnot. You can go look it up.
Yeah.
It was a lot. He's been through a lot. He's taken a lot of heat and crap in Kansas City, frankly, and quite honestly. Hasn't been the easiest time here with his injuries and with everything else that's gone on. So for him to just get right and be okay and be comfortable with himself and where he's at to get back on the field is all I hope for, and that's what we're doing. And he's not like rushing to get back or anything. So
Exactly.
I just hope that, and Kansas City, the Chiefs, hats off to the organization. They've handled this phenomenally. I
Chiefs are
was a
great.
little apprehensive about it when I heard it at first. I was like, I don't know how this is. But Andy's a player's a coach, so I wasn't too worried there. But it's just, for it being one of the first of its kind, really, in the NFL, there's only been maybe one or two other guys before this, and most of them were basically retired from it and whatnot. They didn't really like try to deal with it and then come back and play. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
kind of one of the first of its kind of deals. I was very happy with the way the Chiefs handled it. I'm just happy Clyde's feeling better to be trying to work out and get ready to go.
Yeah, so from a football perspective, who knows if he'll be going this week or if they might save him for next week. But they might need him this week because Kareem Hunt popped up on the injury report as well. He was limited both the days with a shoulder, so that might be something to monitor. Obviously, his first game back in quite some time. You know, he didn't go ahead through training camp or anything, so these are like the first real hits that he was taking on his body all game. So, or for a while. So we'll see how that works. We might see more Carson Steele than we saw last week when it was kind of the Kareem show once again. So TBD on that. Mike Dana has been limited.
Look, I had a feeling Kareem was going to be getting some help, some medical stuff this week. You could have told me it was quad, hip, thigh, ankle, shoulder, wrist, something. He hadn't been hit since January.
Right. Yeah.
Last year, basically.
That's a long time. So you can do it.
And there's only so much football shape is, and we talk about it all the time. Yeah. There's in shape, and then there's in football shape, and that's why I hope Clyde takes his time getting up to speed. He's got 21 days with the window open, so take your time. But like I said, I'm not surprised to see Kareem Hunt's name on this list. We'll know more as we go forward. I am not loving that he was limited again today also, but again, they may just be like, well, we're not going to burn you in practice when we don't need to burn you in practice.
Right. Plus you have a little bit you have an extra day of rest with the Monday night game. So you can just kind of space things out a little more, space out the loads and the reps. So TBD on the running back situation. Mike Dana still limited with his calf injury that he missed last week with. Yeah, he was all out all of last week and missed last week's game. So who knows how he'll be, if he might be good for the game or not. Obviously, they have a couple other names on the D line that have stepped up recently, so don't need to necessarily rush him back. But
I think the biggest two names on this list, and one is good because he participated both practices, and one is not good because he didn't participate at all today. McCole did not participate after being limited, and now we're down to 4 wide receivers. Except for we're not, when we'll talk about why here in a minute.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Derek Nottie, who is a full participant with this tricep both days. So good to have Mr. Nottie fully participating and ready to go.
Also
big for the run game because we're going to talk about matchups here in a minute.
Yeah, also note in that run game, Nick Bolton was also under an injury report. He was a full participant both days. It was the hamstring injury, not the back injury that we saw.
Or shoulder.
Or whatever that he was dealing with last week. It seems like that might, or
lower.
2 weeks
it was
ago,
definitely lower back, and then it was, but he also had the brace thing last year, and he just had surgery, and we had the wrist thing, and he had tweaked it again in training camp or whatever with the elbow. So
so this hamstring, it's a different part of the body. So I mean, that's something, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, that's the Chiefs injury report.
Week 5, he's been playing a lot of snaps. He just needed some work on the muscles, probably.
Essentially, yeah. Saints injury report is a lot longer, and we're just going to kind of glance over these and just kind of get more involved when we talk about the matchups. But they have a sizable amount of guys who did not participate and are probably going to be out. Former Chief, friend of the kingdom, Willie Gay
he is out.
He has been DNP the past 2 days, but he had surgery.
I've seen him in a hospital in a wheelchair after a procedure.
So wishing well for
playing this week.
Wishing
I hope
well for Willie.
gets well.
On a quick recovery for him, but he won't be playing on Monday. Taysom Hill was DNP both days with the rib injuries. The reports are that he had broken ribs, so I don't know if he's going to play. He might, but I kind of, if he does, that'd be kind of silly.
I'd be surprised.
Cesar Ruiz was DNP both days. He's their starting left guard with a knee injury. Shane Lemieux has been DNP both days with an ankle injury.
Their backup to both center and left guard. Or center and left guard.
Peyton Turner was DNP both days. That's their defensive end
on the left side.
A couple other notable ones. Who cares about the kicker? Talise Fuaga, their rookie right tackle. You played right tackle or left tackle?
Left. He is their rookie left tackle.
Yeah, so he was limited both days with the back injury. We know that's not a good sign usually.
That's never fun. Injuries. Especially not for big fellas.
Yeah. As well as Lucas Patrick was another offensive lineman who popped up on the DNP list today. He is their starting center, if I recall correctly.
And that's growing.
Yeah.
And yes, he's their starting center. That would be very bad for
That's
them.
not ideal. A couple other full participant guys.
Demario Davis
was limited with a hamstring both days. He's like their core of their defense. He's the leader of their defense.
He's one of their leaders of their defense.
He's basically the Nick Bolton
of that defense.
So that would be a big loss, especially for that run game, because he's a really good player. Brian Brissy as well, defensive tackle, who's limited both days. So that's never fun. They're already a little bit limited on defense.
Then some of their weapons. I mean, Kamara's limited, but I think that's just mostly veteran limited stuff.
Yeah, he was limited both days with hip and ribs. So
he's been on the injury report before this week and played that Sunday, so that doesn't really move me on the needle. Juwan Johnson was limited and then full participant. He had a forearm. He got banged up when he landed, I think, last weekend. I was watching a little bit of that game. On my fantasy team, he's doing so well. And then Keandre Miller was a limited full with a hamstring. Again, that's one of those soft muscle. Yep. He'll probably play. He's their backup running back, one of their backup running backs to Mr. Kamara. And then Chris Olave was a full participant both days with a hamstring, and so was Cedric Wilson with his ankle injury. So there's a lot of names on here. The problem is for them, a lot of their offensive line is on this list, and most of them did not participate this week.
Yeah, that's the biggest. Great. They have 3 starters essentially who are questionable,
and the backup,
and a backup center and guard. So they signed Connor McGovern to be like probably their center this week. So it's the Saints aren't in the greatest of shape. Definitely, the Chiefs can fare out pretty well compared to the Saints. So
it could be well. I wouldn't say very well. We've taken our fair share of Most of our guys are just on the
that's
IR
not,
list already.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, if we had the IR list, we would be in a lot rougher shape. You're right. So yeah, that's not good. So a couple other Chiefs transactions that have happened since the last time.
Due to all of these injuries.
Yeah, a lot of different moves. So like we said, McCole Hardman was DNP today. So currently going in, you really have 4 wide receivers essentially. The Chiefs ended up signing Jody Fortson to the active roster. I think we talked about him last episode that they signed him to the practice squad.
Yeah, we told you about the practice squad, but now,
so now he's on the active roster, getting the nod over like Nico Remigio and Montrell Washington and Justin Ross. Who are all wide receivers.
We still may see one of those names.
We might, but I don't know. They haven't been using those elevations, but they might use the practice squad.
I know, but
the game day elevations.
With literally only 4 actual wide receivers on the
they might have
depth chart
to
at the moment.
They might have to wait to see.
And who's returning the kicks?
Well, unfortunately, it might be like Sky Moore right now. It might
be.
But
again, that's one of your 4 depth charted wide receivers, and if he gets hurt on special teams, now you have 3.
Yeah, so there's at least a pretty decent chance.
There's a Nico Remigio call up.
Yeah, maybe Montrell Washington. They're both returners.
I guess Montrell could be it too. I think they may give Nico a shot just because he could get.
I would like to see reps. I love Nico. Yeah,
and I think he would actually get some reps at wide receiver also, just because they don't have a ton of them.
Yeah,
so that would be good for him.
Not just returner, period. But
you know what he's got. Well, and you know what Montrell Washington is.
Yeah, I mean he was very solid when he filled in for a returner for a couple weeks last year. So
there's zero question about what he is. You know who he is.
Nico, you at least got a little more potential. So I'm guessing a lot of that's going to come down to how McCole is before the game, if that DNP keeps up for the rest of the week and whatnot. So, but more than likely we'll see at least one more name added besides Jody. But good to see Jody on the roster. It makes sense. I think the Chiefs have kind of made it clear they want guys who have known the playbook before and know how to line up and know what to do in the offense more so than they're looking for just like talent necessarily, like top end. That's why I don't know if a big wide receiver trade is exactly going to happen, but who knows?
Look, I think Wednesday determines a lot of how aggressive they're going to be in the wide receiver market. If there's no Rashee Rice, they will have to do. I think they have to do something. I don't know what. You may not love the something. It may not be a splash name. It may not be a crazy needle mover. But I think they will have to do something at wide receiver.
I would say there's more of a decent chance we get like Byron Pringle or.
Like I said, you may not like the name, but they have to do something.
They're probably going to do something, but it might end up being a familiar face. So
Demarcus Robinson, if the Rams were to lose
Chris
again.
Chris Conley is still out there.
Oh God, Chris Conley.
Okay. He was on the Niners last year.
There are certain wheels.
He was making good plays for the Niners.
I know.
You not remember that?
I'm sorry. That's true.
He's a solid contributor for the Niners still.
I just would. It's so odd because he was so bad in Miami after he left, and then
everybody's kind of had a bad trip in Miami. It seems like nowadays.
Well, no, that's only now recently. Tyreek had like how many yards last year?
Tyreek had a good year. Yeah, Tyreek. I think
Waddle hasn't had his feelings.
A couple of former Chiefs went over there to try to join him, and I mean Jody was one of them, and didn't really work out. So, I mean, Tyreek, you're different. He's also probably not having a lot of fun in Miami now. So.
Well, he's not currently. We know that. So
yeah.
It's just gonna be. It's a lot of attrition with this. So anyway,
matchup.
Yeah, I guess
they signed Darius Rush to the practice squad. That was another transaction. Did you see that?
Who?
Darius Rush.
Oh, I did not see that they brought Darius Rush back.
Yeah, that was another corresponding move. He was the guy they signed him to the 53-man roster last year at the start of the season. They poached him off to like the Colts practice squad, I think.
Yeah, and that sounds right.
He ended up getting back on the practice squad. I think the Steelers signed him. Now he's back on the practice squad.
Yeah,
so
Steelers cut him. Now we're on our practice squad, and did he play special teams? I know
he was a big special teams guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's how they brought him in. He's only like 24 years old still, so that's cool.
Yep, young guy still.
They liked to see, and they brought him back. So,
hey, 40 of you guys hanging out with us on various platforms. While you're here, if you would, we don't do this very often, but if you would, please like and subscribe on whatever platform you're on, and go find us on YouTube or whatever podcast platform you're on, and like and subscribe there. And you can always drop us a review or comments or whatever.
Yeah.
We appreciate it, but it helps us, and then it'll allow us to give you guys some more content here as we go this year and we open up some more things.
Yeah, exactly. We greatly appreciate all the support at Kingdom Says Pod on everything. And yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend, hopefully. Getting into this matchup here, where you want to start? We want to start with the Chiefs offense, which is not fun to talk about, or the Chiefs defense, which is fun to talk about.
It doesn't matter because I think it's going to be a fairly even conversation this evening.
Yeah, it's kind of on the offensive side for the Chiefs. It's it's the same story, different day. Missing a couple key guys. Obviously, you don't have Rasheed. Travis Kelce had a great bounce back game last week versus the Chargers. Xavier Worthy got more into the game plan. So that's probably going to be what they're looking to do. Probably get Travis and Xavier working early, get some of those other wide receiver pieces in there as compliments. Justin Watson is probably going to have a good amount of looks.
Juju, a lot of Juju.
Yeah, a lot of Juju too.
A lot of Juju.
Very interesting. I wanted to actually, now that you mentioned Juju, the last episode of The Franchise came out yesterday.
I did not get a chance to watch it yet.
Got a chance. It was a pretty good episode. Nothing crazy. Obviously, you win 2 games, so that's always fun. Really cool thing I saw in that episode. Juju is like kind of like a player coach in a way on the sideline. He's there. He's dapping everybody up. He's got the tablet. It's really cool to see kind of his role. Obviously, we've known Juju for a very long time and all his antics and stuff when he's with the Steelers and all that fun stuff.
Y'all remember when everybody was worried about his TikTok skills?
Exactly. Yeah. So it was just cool. He's definitely assumed that vet kind of mentor role on the sideline for all those young guys. Xavier Worthy, I think, is going to be one of the biggest guys to benefit from that. So that was cool. And Juju scored a couple weeks ago, his first touchdown back. I would definitely expect to see him get more of a workload, especially in kind of that Rashee Rice type of role.
We're going to find out how much gas is left in that tank.
We sure are, yeah. But between Juju, Justin Watson, Sky Moore is probably going to get more offensive snaps. Who knows how many balls will get thrown his way, but he will be out there at least. But the main focus of the offense has to be Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy, getting those guys into a rhythm. And
I think the matchup is Xavier Worthy because here's the deal: the Saints have a bunch of corners that are the same corner. There are a bunch of dudes that are bigger corners, like to be physical, like to put their hands on you, like to press. Can they get, whether it's Xavier beating them off the line or Andy scheming him freedom off of the line, can he get free releases off the line? Because I think if he can, and they're not sitting on double teaming him, which I think you have to be insane to double him and not double Travis.
Yeah.
And the pure fact that that's a rookie and that's the greatest tight end that's ever played the sport. At the as far as the pass catching and everything else goes, I'm double teaming Travis.
Yeah, especially when they have Tyrann Mathieu over on that side of the ball. Obviously, and Chief legend.
That's the other part of this that I was getting ready to talk about is there's a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, there are.
And Tyrann's gonna cheat to Travis, even if he's not doubling Travis technically.
Yeah,
you will see, much like we did when we had Tyrann. Tyrann will do some freestyling. He will. Oh, why was Tyrann over there all of a sudden? Well, he knows Travis and Patrick pretty well. He saw them a bunch while they were together, and he's seen them since, and they know how each other play. So he's going to be trying to hunt. Now, they can take advantage of it if they let him try to do that stuff with Travis, and when he does it, take advantage with Xavier Worthy. And that's where I think this game's going to be the most interesting from the offensive side, other than the fact that I think we might get a 4 tight end set out of this at some point.
Sure might.
Or a 13 personnel.
Yeah.
Out of it.
14. Yeah, might get 14.
Like I said, it could be some 14, and I would laugh very hard if they
ran the 114 personnel play they ran, I saw a clip of it on Twitter today, I think. I mean, Noah Gray was just out as a wide receiver anyways. No, it's not like they're I guess.
Yeah, but it's all tight ends.
Those
dudes are all really, really big, and corners don't like that much size. Like they're like, okay,
especially around the goal line.
Jesus,
yeah, Lord. Especially around the goal line with all the goal line problems we've been having. I could see it. I could see it happen very easily.
Yeah, you can run 4 tight ends and you're running back, and then you can go power, or you can throw the ball.
Just deceptiveness. I mean, we know Andy's probably going to be in his bag something with elevating Jody. So
I think I think like I said, I think the matchup is, and the thing that I'm most interested in is how does Xavier Worthy take the next step? Because we've seen the deep ball stuff. We know he can do that. We know he can run. And if you've gone back and watched film, like some of us have, not everybody does. It's not everybody's cup of tea. I went back and watched 22. He's open on some other routes too.
Oh yeah.
And like, for example, the third down to end cap the last game, last game.
Yep.
The crossing route, he runs the crosser.
Mwah.
He's open,
Mwah.
runs it clean. It's exactly what he's capable of running a full route tree. And I think what I'm curious to see is how much him and Patrick are on the same page of reading these defenses. Because remember, a lot of this offense is seeing what the quarterback sees. So that's why it takes a little more time and it's a little more difficult than some of the other offenses in this league. That's part of why Andy says he wants guys with familiarity. It's not just with the system, it's with the quarterback.
No, that's true. That's very true. And that's obviously chemistry is a big thing. And that's been, I mean, it was lacking a lot last season. So that's something that they're definitely trying to recapture is that offensive chemistry. So,
what's up, Corey?
Oh, the RG Corey. What good to see him. So yeah, the offense, wide receiver wise, we'll see Xavier and Kelsey's where you guys start. The run game, as we kind of alluded to a little bit already, probably going to get a little bit more Carson Steele than we did last week. Andy still had a lot of confidence in the rookie. Just got to hold on to the ball better. Just got to hold on to the ball better. But with Kareem limited, and Clyde might not be back yet, so it might just be Samaje as the backup as well. I don't know. I would expect to see more Carson Steele this week, maybe even more Samaje as an actual running back.
It depends on how healthy Kareem is. If Kareem is healthy and they're ready to go, he's going to get the ball.
Yeah,
and they're going to give him the ball, and then it's going to be Samaje on third downs. But if he's banged up, then yeah, you will see some more of Carson Steele. If Kareem is healthy, he's your RB1.
That's true.
Now.
Yeah, if Kareem, and
there's no
rightfully so, because when he's healthy, he is by far the best running back on this roster right now, and it's Kareem Hunt. That's Kareem Hunt football for you. So as long as the offensive line still keeps on doing their thing, they've been moving bodies. No other in the run game.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still some. I would like to see a little cleaner game from that interior. There's been a little on going back to rewatch and really focusing in on kind of what's been happening with all the scrutiny on the tackles. That interior is kind of skated on some things that have caused Patrick to be a little more happier feet than we would like to see, like we've seen in the past. So
Joe Tooney's still coming back from that injury.
Yes, I think that's the biggest. I think
Joe Tooney's definitely taking a little bit step back, but like we said, the injury part is a big part of that.
He tore his pectoral muscle not even a year ago.
Exactly. So
it's going to take him a little bit to get that core strength. He's lost some to the inside on a couple of plays that I don't think he would have traditionally lost in the past because of that. And it's different when you're used to that dude being a robot, and now he's not. He's still working on getting back to Terminator form a little bit, if you get what I'm saying.
Exactly.
So, and for whatever reason, Trey Smith seems to get like 3 or 4 just terrible calls a year against him. And there was one last week, and it's like, I don't know what he has to do. Maybe just not be so mean on all the other plays so that the
that's his brand of football,
feel bad for them. I know, but I mean, like, I swear it's partially he gets called sometimes because the official feel bad because the guy's been getting whooped all night.
I mean, that's definitely a decent chance. Yeah, I mean, Trey's a phenomenal player and we love him, but that's what you're
beating
getting.
People up, and then the official's like, all right, you've beat him up.
I
like
gotta call a flag on you for
something.
Now. Otherwise, I just gotta call you a flag on you for something. Yeah. Other notable thing with the offensive line, obviously, Wanye Morris still making the start at left tackle. How has he looked from your film review the past few weeks?
Well, again, like he's been helped a lot more than Kingsley was.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of instances, he's been fine. I don't know that his play's been any higher. He lost some. It's been pretty similar, to be honest. It hasn't been crazily different.
It's not been.
He's been a little better.
But
again, he's been a little bit. I shouldn't say that. He's been better, but some of that is again level of competition the last few weeks. has not been the same
call
thing.
and all that. Yeah.
But again, scheme and play call. But when he's been left on an island, it's looked pretty similar, to be honest.
Exactly.
And so my wonder with that situation is if he doesn't take a significant step and they go into the bye and then you come out and all of a sudden Kingsley's starting again, I won't be surprised.
That's a very good point. Yeah, if he has anything less than a B- game, probably, then Kingsley probably has a good chance of getting that job back. Who knows?
Especially with the bye week, they have time. He's gonna have time to work on everything. They're gonna have time to evaluate. They can do a little more during the bye week to see where he's at, have a little more of a competition between them if they need to. With the extra rep week, the whole extra week of reps that they could use. So this is the part of the year where I'm interested to see what the next steps are for this offensive line because of all the conversation we've had about how they've handled this whole situation. It's been I'm not a big fan of how they handled it. It's been very odd.
Kyle is not a fan. Yeah, Kyle is not a fan. Gotta highlight the Saints defensive line real quick, just so we know some names.
Yes.
Starting with our boy Colin Saunders, longtime Chief legend. We love Colin. He's the man, Sir Binkosaurus or whatever he calls himself.
I just don't love Colin's matchup because you're either getting Trey Smith or Joe Tooney. And
yeah,
brother,
I mean, Colin's
I love
a solid
you.
player,
I love you, buddy. But that doesn't sound like fun.
It's tough sledding. They still got Cam Jordan, who's a 35 years old, still kicking.
He is ancient, but he is a beast.
But he's a dog, yeah. Chase Young
Mad
is over there.
For Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan's
been
doing a long time.
He's gonna walk into the Hall of Fame probably.
Probably should.
Yeah. Chase Young is over there, the former first-round pick. He's still got some juice. Carl Granderson's actually probably their best defensive end.
Carl Granderson. Okay, so you asked me about Wanye. Carl Granderson is Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, he's in that similar mold.
A
little bit lighter,
he's literally the guy they drafted to replace him because they didn't pay Trey Hendrickson and let Trey Hendrickson go to Cincinnati to get paid. So they got Carl Granderson, who's very similar to Trey Hendrickson. So that said, that's part of the reason why I wanted to see what Wanye does this week. And if he doesn't play well, you may see Kingsley again, because if he struggles similarly with Granderson as to Wanye did, or as to Kingsley did with Hendrickson, yeah. and that includes him getting help, then why aren't we just playing the kid? Right. And I know they're close in age, but there's still a year difference there, and I think potentially Wanye becomes your right tackle when Kingsley takes your left tackle spot.
I mean, that is
eventually.
I don't think
he's going to be your right tackle this year, because that's still going to be Juwan Taylor's job.
No,
but I do think that
long-term wise, that'd be pretty good.
Long-term,
two young tackles as your bookend guys.
Crazy. It would be not terribly expensive, especially because they've been fighting with each other for the left tackle job. So no other team's going to be like, well, they're crazy good, right? Because they can't figure out which side they want to play them on.
Yeah.
So there's some pieces to it.
Okay, hopping over to the Saints offense, the Chiefs defense. Obviously, we know the Chiefs defense, one of the best in the league. They've been shutting down running backs left and right. Basically, every running back has not had great fares, not had great days versus defense.
I think it's like 50 carries for 150 yards or something.
Yeah, I want to say the average was around like 3, so that sounds about right.
Yeah,
it's like 3 point something is what they've averaged. So that's really good numbers. That we'll take those usually. Wide receivers have been, okay in matchups. The big thing that's been killing the Chiefs have been tight ends. And obviously Taysom Hill is out most likely. They have Juwan Johnson, who is banged up.
Legitimately, the Chiefs catch a break here because Taysom Hill has broken ribs. And Juwan Johnson has a messed up forearm and he actually, I think, left the game a little bit last week. So they have Foster Moreau and
they have Dallin Holker. Oh, I actually like that.
Dallin.
He was a Colorado State guy. Yeah, I actually did like him as a prospect. But
Dallin's their fourth tight end.
Yeah, he's a rookie still. I ain't really too worried about him. But
and then you get into the wide receiver portion of it, and it's Chris Olave, and then they cut A.T. Perry today or yesterday. Yeah. And then they've got Rashid Shaheed has been their only other guy.
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed, who either
mostly a deep threat.
Yeah, he either catches 175-yard touchdown a game or has like 22 yards a game. There's basically no in between.
And then their backup is Cedric Wilson Jr. was with the Dolphins and couldn't get on the field last year.
Yeah, and then they have Mason Tipton and Bub Means
and
in the wide receiver room.
And they shredded. Don't get me wrong, they destroyed the Cowboys and who was the week?
Yeah, we should be clear. Yeah, this Saints team, the first 2 weeks, put up 40 points a game each way. I mean, they were very electric and high flying.
Now, new offensive coordinator, and Clint Kubiak, which is Gary Kubiak's son.
Yep.
So not a lot of tape on him, although hint, he's his father's son. Maybe check his game plan and see if there's some similarities.
Maybe. And also they're going to the Panthers week 1, so yeah.
Yeah, the other thing was they pounded the Panthers. So there was some questions, then everybody was like, "Oh, well they're really good because they killed Dallas." And then we find out that Dallas's defense is suspect.
Dallas is kind of an imposter.
And then now their whole offensive line, and I mean, I'm not talking about like one or two guys. I mean, the whole offensive line is hurt. All of them. Everybody.
Pretty much.
The starting left tackle is hurt. The starting center is hurt. The starting right guard is hurt. The backup center and backup right guard, same person, hurt. They signed. You said they signed Connor McGovern today, right?
Yeah, today. So it's not usually not great to have to insert a center in there. Yeah.
That's not good news. And also, the only two guys that are healthy, one of them is Trevor Penning.
Yeah.
Who's in his third year, and not everybody loved Trevor Penning coming out. I remember lots of conversation with Tom and the draft guys about Trevor Penning, and how they not necessarily, especially in that higher round crew in that draft class. And then the other guy is their left guard, and it's Landon Young from Kentucky, and he's fine, but fine is how I would leave it. So, with this defensive line that has destroyed running game after running game, and the Saints have to run the ball, this is a not stylistically fun matchup for the Saints this time.
Yeah, and not even a little
Derek Carr has had very little success at Arrowhead. He's had a little bit, but it's very minimal.
Yeah, and I mean, Chiefs are very familiar with Derek Carr.
That's usually a full complement of his offensive line, and that's when he's got his weaponry. And I'll be honest, with that offensive line looking as patchwork quilted together as it is, and even the weapons being banged up, this isn't a recipe for success for them, honestly. There's some serious mismatches here for this Chiefs defense. Chris Jones is going to have...
Chris Jones is going to eat. Yeah, Chris Jones.
I would be honest,
nightmares about Chris Jones.
I would honestly be kind of upset for Chris if he didn't have, like, 3 this game. Like, legitimately.
2 last game. Yeah, I mean.
Well, because he gets to pick his matchup, and B, you get 4 backups to pick from. What does it matter?
That's not like Derek Carr's the most mobile quarterback these days.
Yeah. Let me just grab this center and devour him over and over and over and over again. Like, oh, you tried to double team me with your backup right guard? And okay, well, that was cute. Nice try. Glad that happened.
Yep. Now Turk's in there. Yep.
Well, and Turk and George, and then this is another opportunity this week with still having Mike Dana limited on the injury list. We saw some flashes from both guys last week that we talked about. Malik Herring was better. Felix Anudike-Uzomah was better. He's getting off the ball. I was very hard on Felix to begin the year, remember? And man, you spent all offseason after watching what happened last year. You basically needed to fix one thing to at least create yourself a solid floor. And the first 2 times you got an opportunity to do it, you couldn't do it. So it was extremely frustrating. And especially because it's as simple as turn your head and look at the ball. If you have to
look at the ball. Yeah, really just got to look at the ball. Yeah.
I know maybe you're struggling. Like I said when we talked about it, maybe you're struggling with your peripheral vision. A, see an eye doctor. B, if that's a problem, turn your head an extra half an inch or inch until you can see it, and then go when it moves, and then you can look at your guy. That extra 1/8 of a second of looking at him is not going to.
Hey, maybe we gotta look into LASIK for Felix.
The amount of time that it takes you to refocus your eyeballs on your opponent is less than the amount of time it takes you for you to wait for him to move when he doesn't move when the snap does, because that's what he was doing. So he's got the opportunity. They looked better. Malik looked better. I also loved Leo Chenal, the edge rusher, because
Oh yeah, Leo Chenal. He's gonna be eating wherever he is.
He's just so strong, and they don't know what to do with it because they're like, well, he's only 250 pounds, but he just picked me up and walked away with me, and I'm
honestly, he reminds me
330.
like I'll sometimes when I was watching last game, I was watching it, and sometimes he looks like George out there. You know, I mean,
Dude, I had to double
very-
check
yeah,
because their numbers are so close.
exactly. Like it's basically having another George, but just
And-
slightly smaller and a little more fiery.
and a little faster. He gets around the edge a little.
yeah.
He can get around the top a little faster if he chose to. I don't know that he's figured out how
He
to
usually
choose
chooses
to.
the route of just going straight through
the guy's chest cavity.
That seems to be
fun.
Leo's move of choice.
This is the same guy that at Wisconsin, the linebacker room, everybody they wrote death row on everything and on their arms and whatnot.
Yeah,
Like
he's about it. Leo Chenal's about it.
So I don't like this matchup for the Saints offense. This is a bad matchup for the Saints offense. As it's currently constructed.
It's gonna be a tough sled. Steve Spagnuolo
I really hope this
Derek
defense
Carr
comes
very
out
well.
and just says no on Monday night. And
There's
they
a solid chance.
shut it out. Shut it down.
They've held other teams to very little points, and I would say this is probably one of their easiest matchups of the year so far. So,
well, what's the recipe for Derek Carr, Garrett? What do you have to do to Derek Carr to make him not have a good time and not
just
play
gotta get
well?
pressure on him, really. I mean, just gotta get pressure on him.
Not just pressure. You have to. There's one piece of. It doesn't have to be a sack.
Put him in the dirt.
You have to hit him.
Yeah.
If you hit him a couple of times, even if he gets the ball off, and it's not if you hit him a few times, he starts to heat up. He starts to. I gotta get rid of it. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, and Derek Carr,
and then the eyes wander, and then he misses guys, and he throws it to the other team.
Yeah, Derek Carr too. He's one of those guys, and we've talked about it before. There's kind of the Chiefs effect when you play, or like the Mahomes effect when you play the Chiefs, where it's like you always feel like you need to be scoring just because you know that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs will score
whenever
anytime,
are supposed to be able to score whenever they want.
Allegedly, yeah, that's the fear. But
we'll get to that.
I feel like Derek Carr is one of the more susceptible guys to that in the league, where like if the first couple drives don't go well and the Chiefs go up even a little bit on them, he starts to panic pretty heavily and starts to play hero ball. And
you're also putting a first-year offensive coordinator in a play from behind situation against Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo. If you do get out ahead of them at all at any point early on in this, and like I said, if you can heat Derek Carr up, whether it be with 4 or whether it be with disguising it on the blitzes and hitting him, as long as you hit him, he's not going to have a great time. The other thing he doesn't like is when it's really, really loud.
And it's going to be
really loud on Monday night in Arrowhead.
That's going to be, and we're going to be contributing to it. It's going to be us. Yep.
So it's not an ideal environment for a guy who's played in that environment a ton. He knows he doesn't like it. We know he doesn't like it. And he's got to deal with his whole offensive line being absolutely even if some of these guys play, they're not anywhere close to 100%. So it's a tough ask for this Saints offense. That's why this game's going to be like 75-74, I'm sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Pretty much. That's how the Chiefs game's going in the past few weeks. Is inferior opponent who you should be beaten pretty easily, and it's never quite that easy. You know, it's never quite that easy. But I still think a dub is in the works for the Chiefs. Anything we missed before we get to score predictions? You think, Kyle?
Not terribly.
Yeah.
There's the special teams matchup. You pretty much always have an advantage when Dave Cove is your special teams coordinator, and I know that not everybody always believes that, but it is the truth for the most part in the NFL. They're an interesting team. The thing that I'm most curious about is because of the familiarity with the guys on defense. There's so many former Chiefs that are a part of this defense. Like, there's, I know Willie's hurt, but there's 3 or 4 or 5 guys on this defense that have been in Kansas City recently, or have hardware that they can wear on their finger. From Kansas City. So
definitely a bit of familiarity.
That I think is the most interesting portion of that part, is to see the Colin and I'm a little irritated because Willie's not going to be on the field. Sucks
Yeah,
because I
that's
wanted to see
unfortunate.
that.
Yeah,
Because I wanted to see, because one at each level of the defense, Colin, Willie, and
that would have been.
Tyron
Yeah, that really would have
at
been.
each level of the defense, and because those dudes have seen all of it. I mean, they've seen under the hood. They know behind the clothes. You don't. It is what it is. And then of course Andy and them adjust and do things different every year, but it ain't that different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it'll be fun. I think this is going to be a really, really enjoyable game. It's part of the reason we circled this one on the calendar for
We did
tickets to go
circle this
to.
one. Yeah.
That said, Garrett, I'm going to let you do a little bit of talking because I got to grab our giveaway stuff that I mentioned, that I got to get it, and I got to
Okay.
jump off screen to do that. So
Okay,
you
bet.
can do a little bit of your own game or preview.
Well, hey,
scoreboard
I'll
here,
mention
so.
one thing while you go do that. Is you talk about special teams. Oh no, I'm off. I'm all by myself. I gotta put this. Okay, I'm solo screen now, guys. One more special teams thing. Just as Kyle was talking there, he mentioned special teams. The Saints have a Australian punter named Matthew Hayball. So that's interesting. He's a lefty. So we mentioned the potential of obviously not having McCole Hardman back there as your returner. You might have Sky Moore. Or a couple other Montreal Washington, Nico Remigio, who knows? But that's another special teams thing to look out for. Also, the Saints kicker is a second-year guy, Blake Group maybe. They had Will Lutz there for a while, and he's no longer there. So we're with a younger squad in New Orleans for the special teams. But yeah, overall, this game is really going to come down to obviously the offense, how the offense plays. If Patrick Mahomes can figure himself out, figure his mental things out and get on page with all his receivers and whatnot. That's always kind of the big worry with the Chiefs these days, which is crazy to say. But I think that eventually the Chiefs will kind of figure out their offensive woes, get into the place that they need to be. And yeah, I mean, they'll be ready. They'll be ready in January, I bet. But early on in October, it gets a little spooky. It gets a little spooky for the Chiefs in October. That's like the only month that the Chiefs, I think I actually read some stat that the Chiefs lead the NFL in every month winning percentage since 2018.
Except October.
Besides October, they're like second or third.
They had a rough October, 1 or 2 October. I think it was 2 years ago, or was it last year that October was crap? One of them was real bad.
But yeah, 2 years ago was pretty bad too, I think.
And so October was really rough, but he's the best quarterback in September, I think, ever, as far as his from number of years in his career concerned.
He's
the best.
Pretty dang good in November and December and January and February.
Yeah, crazy how that works. So yeah, October's been a little bit of a house of horrors. I'm curious, especially because of the injury bug. It may be a little more annoying, but I think they still have plenty of things to get it done against the Saints team, who's also dealing with their own boatload of injuries. So
yeah.
And then they get and we remember how we talked about the early bye week and how it's not always great. We don't really love the fact that we have the early bye week because this team really usually needs the bye week later in the year to be getting healthy and be full to go. Yeah. Boy, having that early bye week is going to be freaking nice this year because they are beat to crap. And it's like week freaking 5.
And hey, if they want another bye week, just got to get the 1 seed. That's all you got.
Right. Just keep doing what it is you're doing. And the other nice part is it kind of lightens up the schedule eases out a bit. So, you go from what was deemed one of the harder starts to the season. I mean, you open with Baltimore and you get Cincinnati, and then you have to go to, and everybody didn't know what Atlanta was going to be. Chargers won on paper again. They were going to challenge in the 08. Everybody's hurt. And
they lost again.
Yeah, they lost again. And now you have the Saints, but then it's bye week. Niners, who are also banged themselves up. They've got guys out and hurt and a little dysfunctional. Ayuk hasn't done squats to getting paid, really. And Christian McCaffrey has Achilles tendonitis in both feet.
Yeah.
And then you go Vegas, a surprise Tampa team. Denver, and by the way, Vegas is currently losing Devontae Adams, and God knows what else is happening out there.
Yeah, maybe it's the Chiefs.
The Broncos are not great. The Bills, it'll be week 11, so who knows what they're going to be by then.
Yeah.
And then you get Carolina and Vegas and the Chargers again. And then you don't have to really worry about much outside of that until you play Houston in week 16 because the Browns are terrible. So
yeah.
The schedule lightens up a little after you get out of this. So that early bye is going to be nice.
I agree. Before we get to score predictions, Kyle, do you have something to show everybody?
So we will be running a giveaway. There will be a post on the social media accounts, whether that be Twitter, whether that be Facebook, whether that be YouTube, whether that be Instagram. You can go on all of them and get an entry. You will be able to go on as long as you follow the instructions on each one of the social pages posts. You will get an entry by doing those things on that page. Cool. So like
Cool.
Twitter, it will say retweet and follow these individuals. Instagram, same thing. Facebook, the whole nines. Like, share, share to your story for Instagram. Facebook will have the like and share thing to be able to win a print of our guy who's gonna be okay.
For the season.
He's gonna be okay. We're gonna manifest some okay. We're gonna manifest the good vibes.
Manifest the good vibes.
Shout out to the artist chief who we pulled up earlier, who's hanging out with us. I'm sure watching. He is the artist behind these. This is his print. We will put this up as an option for you guys to win. There will also be a link to go visit his shop so you can buy and get some of his prints. There will be more giveaways like this of these type of prints throughout the season.
Phenomenal prints too.
Phenomenal. Yes, I have them all behind me. I'm just not showing them all to you guys yet because you're going to get to see them throughout the season as they go. But this is the first one we're doing to kick off the year. I decided to go with the Rasheed thing because he's of subject, even though it's not the greatest subject right now. Yeah. We're going to go some optimism. We're going to do this contest. Hopefully he's good to go by the scan, and we're going to do the drawing for this next Wednesday. So it'll be on the we'll know by the Thursday episode of this, which is what we usually do, who the winner is, and hopefully we'll know his status too. So we'll do all that. So you have a week from today when we get this out, or tomorrow whenever the post goes up. You'll see it.
Yeah.
But it's been announced. Here it is. And so you go hop on, do the instructions on each one of the social media pages, get your entries in, and get a chance to win this. And then go check out Corey's site and grab some prints from him because he's got a ton of really good artwork on there.
Hell yeah. Shout out Corey, the artist chief, for hooking us up with that print and a bunch of other ones. So
yeah, I got a whole army of them behind me. There's a bunch of different ones. They're cool. It's all a variety of different stuff over the last couple of years. So
okay, so ending off here, score predictions for Chiefs Saints Monday Night Football in Arrowhead with the Kingdom Says Pod live in the stadium.
We will be in the building. We will be hanging out, tailgating before the game.
Yeah, we'll probably
if you are going to be there in the building and you want to meet up, you can shoot us a message to one of us if you know us. If you don't, come by and say hi if you stumble upon us. I'm probably not going to just be blasting locations out. We'll see.
We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens, but we might let you know.
I don't necessarily want to put it out to the whole world where we're at because that's a little weird. But hey, if you guys want to come by and get a hold of us, shoot us a message or want to meet us, that's fine too. We're happy to hang out. I just, like I said, I don't necessarily say we're going to broadcast it to everybody, but we will be there. So
yeah. Okay, score prediction. I'm going with a clean, stress-free 21-13 Chiefs. I think obviously I don't expect, and I can't expect at this moment until the Chiefs prove me otherwise that they have a high-scoring offense as much as I would like to see it. So I think 21 points might even be a little generous, but I think that enough cylinders are firing properly on Monday that the offense will be able to get things done. No worry about the defense, really. The Saints might get a random long bomb to Rashid Shaheed. That's kind of, they do get folks on that one. And
so Garrett said the Chiefs cover and take the under. That's what Garrett said.
That's what I said.
So
right there.
the spread for this game currently, at least according to NBC Sports at the moment, is -5.5. The Chiefs are -250 on the money line. And the total is 42.5, and I really
pretty close total. Yeah,
I mean it's a low scoring total because like you said, I don't know with the Saints offense what that looks like.
Yeah,
and the Chiefs offense hadn't exactly been explosive this year, except for very brief moments of Xavier Worthy touchdowns. So
and they're probably not going to run away with it and make like 44-3.
No, because it's not the Raiders who they have a thing to take care of. Like it's not one of those because Andy will occasionally mess around and blow out a division opponent.
He will occasionally mess around. You're right.
But usually these kind of games, he's not in the mood to crush teams. That said, I do like the Chiefs to cover. I do think they win this game by a comfortable enough margin, largely because I think the defense just says no, you don't get to do
Yeah, no
anything.
more of that. Yep.
I'm gonna say the Chiefs 27, Saints 10. I just don't know that they get enough offense going. I
Yeah.
just don't. And because of that, I think there will be turnovers and stuff, and that's why they get to 27. I don't think the Chiefs offense is going to be like out there just tap dancing on the Saints. I think that
Yeah.
the
Would love to
defense
see
is
it, though.
going to cause some problems for the Saints that are going to result in some short fields for this Chiefs offense, which would probably help it get on track.
Yeah, yeah. So that is what we've got for you. Also, fun little stat: I'm 3-3 in attending Chiefs games and Chiefs winning. So if you want to bet your life savings on the Chiefs money line, history says it's a good bet. I'm just saying.
Also, we do not provide gambling advice
Don't
on this
provide. Yeah,
podcast for
that's not
legal
official,
reasons.
though. Yeah.
Also, if you were going to pick Patrick to throw an interception, he's thrown several in a row in several weeks, and Tyrann Mathieu is on the other side of this team. Would not surprise me if we get another Patrick pick. Although
Yeah,
I
if you
hope
can
this
prop bet
one
that.
isn't bad. I hope it's a Tyrann made a stupid, crazy play because he knew what they were doing and made the play type of deal. If it
Yeah.
happens, I hope it's not a bad one. So
Yeah, but if you can find that prop on one of the sports
I'd look
books,
into it.
I would look into it. Yeah, you're right.
Just
So with
because
that,
the familiarity that we talked about earlier. So
exactly.
like
So
I
with
said,
that,
I think this team is going to have a fun Monday night.
yeah, I know I'm
Even
gonna
if
have
it's
a fun
not
Monday night.
even if it's not a blowout. Like I said, I know I said 27-10, but there's probably like a late touchdown there that doesn't really matter, and it's mostly like a 20-10 game before that, and it's pretty tight. So
Yeah, we can only hope. Should be a fun night, everyone. Monday Night Football, KC night game. It's gonna be a little chilly. It's gonna be a little chilly. It's supposed to be like 60.
dude,
Supposed to be like 60.
you don't know the meaning of the word chili,
That's a little
desert
chilly
kid.
for this Arizona boy.
I'm gonna be in shorts.
I'm gonna be in a hoodie. I think I'm gonna be in a hoodie and pants. That's just me personally, though. And Xavier Worthy jersey.
That's what happens when you live in a desert.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you to the looks like 60 of you that have been here with us for the last hour
had a good
or
amount of
so.
people rocking with us tonight. Yeah.
Please
cool, fun times.
like the video as you're currently in here. Like it on all the platforms. If you check out the podcast edition of this, that'll I'm sure pop out eventually later. Thank you for rocking with us. Get ready to enter that contest because we don't want you to miss out on the print. And go check out Corey's page, which will be linked on all the social pages that we can link it to. So.
Exactly. Yep. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us. Tune in tonight. Follow us at Kingdom Says Pod on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere else. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will be back next week on a very, very awesome episode, hopefully, of recap.
Hopefully it's a very good time.
Yeah, hopefully it's a very good time. And
hopefully we're going to have a good time regardless.
We're going to have a good time.
Hopefully the game outcome is a good time.
We're going to have a good time. All right. We're going to have a good time. So, yep, that's it. That's all we got for you. Thank you for tuning in and watching. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of The Kingdom Says. Okay, I'm going to give it like a 15-second countdown, though, because then there's a delay. So it's like